On Saturday night, Austin FC played Toronto FC for the first time in club history. And after a really boring 90-minute match, Austin FC beat Toronto FC at the very last minute by the goal of Gyasi Zardes in a 1-0 score. And this match itself, for me, it was really boring and really frustrating to watch. Before I get to that, let's look at the starting lineup. This lineup looked really interesting because there's a lot of changes in this lineup. First of all, Julio Cascante was back from his concussion protocol. That meant he was starting out with both Bison and Alex Ring, and we thought maybe Alexander Radovanovic would get his second start, but no, Cascante was back. Nick Lima was back on the pitch, making him be on the right side on the pitch, being the right wing back, and John Gallagher taking Adam Lundekid's role and being as a left wing back. So this time Austin FC was playing with back in the 5 in the back. Two midfield players, one of them was Danny Pereira, and getting his first start with Austin FC, first minutes or first official start, was Sofiane de Chefad, who had a really great game with Austin FC, and 3 up front, which we got to see. Rodney Rez was back from suspension against the match from FC Dallas, and Ethan Finley was starting on the right side. And the most surprising one was that we all thought that Maxi Ruti wasn't getting minutes because his knee was swelled up, and we thought maybe Gyasi Zardes would be following up his great performance from the win against Seattle, but no, Zardes was on the bench and Maxi Ruti got the start. But for me, this was a really solid and strong and interesting lineup against the last place team of Toronto FC. But overall, the entire match itself, you guys, we have to admit, it was so boring as hell. We had so many shots, like let's say 16 shots on target, and we only scored 1. The first half, Austin FC was being back the way they were. Dominant team, really, that win against Seattle motivated them and said, let's get a win against this team of Toronto, and it happened. But like I said, there were so many shots that no score was going in. When it came to Maxi Ruti's shot that hit the post, we thought that was going to go in, and Maxi's going to score his third goal or second goal with Austin FC, but no, hit the crossbar, almost there, would have kicked it better in a better angle or something like that. Danny Pereira's shot was way off, way off the post when the crossbar. But the thing that led this 0-0 before the half was our defense was doing a hell of a job. Bison, Julio Cascante, and Alex Ring kept that. And also the Chefal and Danny Pereira, those 5 players kept the midfield on lockdown because they didn't want no Toronto FC to go past that pitch of our own field, and it worked out great. John Gallagher and Nick Lima as the wingback players had a great first half. The only player that surprised me the most was Nick Lima, who was hauling ass in the entire match. He was looking for that assist, or he had that dog inside of him saying that because to me, as a right wingback player for Nick Lima, he looked more natural and he looked more comfortable than maybe that should be his spot or new role as being instead of being a right back, be a right wing back player, go back and forth, support the defense and support the offense. The first half was boring, nothing much. Second half was the same way as the first half, a lot of back and forth, but mostly Austin FC had many opportunities. Like first of all, Danny Pereira's shot hit and was saved by Sean Johnson from Toronto FC, the goalkeeper. And when it came to the substitutions, it was like more, we were trying to get that goal, so our substitutions were more offense. The one player that came in was Zardes for Urruti, Joka Valencia for Danny Pereira, and Adam Lundekid for John Gallagher, which means the gears were shifting, the gears were turning, because this is the one thing that was kind of dumb. So Sofiane de Chefad's foul. Okay, you guys, let's just say this. So when it comes to a player body slamming another player, that's considered a yellow card. Okay, makes sense now. Because Sofiane de Chefad was going at it with the ball. He was going 1v1 with the player, Toronto FC's player K, number 18, I believe it was. He was trying to go around him, trying to go past him, but no. Instead of, doing that, instead of, slide tackling him, K instead grabs Sofiane de Chefad's shirt, yanks him down, and he gets a yellow card. Like, all of us in supporter section, I was at the game, we were just saying that should have been a red card, but no, a yellow is considered now, body slamming is now a yellow card. All right, that makes sense to me. Right after that yellow card, Emiliano Rigoni does a free kick. The free kick he shoots, but it hits the side of the net, which we all thought it was a goal, but no, it was at the right angle, but needed more touch to it. Right after that, Austin FC was being the more dominant team to Toronto FC because the more action was to us in our own, in the other field, because our defense and midfield kept our field where Stu was at on lockdown. Nothing was going past through them. Right after the end with the many attempts, we were given 4 additional minutes. Right after that, Joker Valencia does a good cross in the air to Adam Lundekits on the left side. Lundekits, who does a complete 180 turn to one of the Toronto FC players. He sees Julio Cascante or Nick Lima, one of the 2 players in the box, does a good cross in the air, but one of the Toronto FC players does a header, tries to get that ball out of the box, but no, it's in the air. Sean Johnson is right there, should have gotten out, but he stayed in his line, which is kind of like, why didn't he got out? But I guess he's a goalkeeper, he knows better than us. It goes to Nick Lima. Nick Lima does a header, hits the crossbar rebounds, and he sees, Gyasi Zardes is right there at the right time, does a header, wins the match. Austin FC 1-0. Zardes has scored 2 goals in 2 games. Both goals have been game winners. Scored a second goal against Seattle Sounders on Wednesday night and scored a goal on Saturday night against Toronto FC. Proving his doubters wrong too, because we found out he gets paid $800,000 with Austin FC, and many of those who doubted him or being skeptical and hate on him, he's proved them wrong now. And also, Austin FC finally wins a game in Q2. The last time we got a win was back in March, in which we beat against Montreal in a clutch winning game, which Maxi Ruti scores, and now Gyasi Zardes scores on a clutch winning moment. Also, Austin FC, in my own opinion, they look so better this month. Better than the last 2 to 3 months. We have scored 7 goals. 5 in MLS, 2 in US Open Cup. We have done 7 points out of the 12, and despite the injuries and despite the formations we always have, like let's say a back 5, back 4, back 3, 3 in the midfield, 2 in the midfield, the team itself is quickly adapting to a better formation and to a better system at the moment because their star player, Gyasi, is out, and many people have said, like for me, I would say, guilty sharks for saying this, we look better without Gyasi. With Gyasi, it's kind of like we're trying to rely on him the most, but without him, the team is more free to themselves. Like, let's try this out, and it works out great. But I like how we're playing at the moment. But after that, Austin FC beat Toronto FC, and it was a really boring match in my own opinion. Many questions would be asked, or I would ask this question: if Austin FC would not get this win, if Zardes' goal was going in, the question would have been this: if Austin FC had a good game and a good win against a tough opponent of Seattle Sounders, how come we didn't follow up to this game against Toronto FC, in which we had to wait until the last minute to get that win against this team? Because we always struggle against last place teams no matter what. We always have the right players with the right formation, but when on the field, we always have a hard time against these last place teams. We've seen it against Houston Dynamo and LA Galaxy, and giving a free point to Toronto FC would have been like, a huge loss to us. But it's soccer, nothing's gonna be perfect. Other than that, you guys, my name is VanillaMexican17. Hope you understood this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.